What is up, guys? This is Quell here, and today, we are back with another episode on Scorched Earth. And the, Easter Fire Wyvern is fully grown up, and as majestic as you see it right in front of you. And it's just, God, I love Scorched Earth. Scorched Earth is one of the DLCs that is very underrated. It doesn't have much love in it, and I have no idea why. I think it's because it doesn't have as much as any of the other DLCs like Aberration or Extinction. It doesn't have an ending. It doesn't have any tech rums. You can't get any tech from it, so that is very disappointing because they still Wildcard still haven't worked on giving Scorched Earth tech rums and an ending, because Aberration has an ending, the island has an ending, and Extinction has an ending, but Scorched Earth does not. And what I'm thinking is that they could do is that they have either two options. They could either introduce a new boss with new gameplay mechanics on how to beat it, and they could like just basically build an entirely new boss from scratch, or they could just use the Manticore as the final boss and just have that maybe resized to make it be a lot bigger, or to just or make it a lot stronger so that it'll be harder, and maybe even a little bit of tweaking, like a better way to defeat it. So those are the two options that Wildcard. I would be happy for Wildcard to go, because recently Wildcard said that they're not going to add in an ending for Scorched Earth. And their stupid excuse was that the ending for Scorched Earth is different and it's not like the other ones, which is absolute. It's absolute. It's absolute malarkey. But seriously, that is extremely pathetic. That is so pathetic how like a big game company like Wildcard to not put in the effort and to not give a crap about giving Scorched Earth, which just so happens to be its first DLC, an ending, because it deserves an ending. It deserves a proper ending because it has none, or at least it deserves tech rooms, because apart from like making the tech structures and tech items on other maps and then transporting them to Scorched Earth, there's no way of getting any sort of element-based equipment or structures or saddles. And so I'm thinking that, well, this is basically going to be like a talky episode. For tech rooms, I feel like since, actually, well, never mind. I was thinking that Extinction doesn't really have any tech rooms, but technically it does. It does have a lot of tech rooms, just not tech rooms that you get from boss fights. But technically they do still have tech rooms. So what I'm thinking is that Wildcard could and should do, what they could and should do is give it give Scorched Earth 3 new tech runs, just like with Aberration, how it had 3, it had a saddle, a structure, and a weapon. I feel like it should be the same for Scorched Earth. It should have 1 saddle, 1 weapon, and 1 structure. So I'm thinking for, and just like with Aberration, like if you kill the Gamma Rockwell, you get the Tech Sleeping Pod, and if you kill the Beta, you get the Rock Drake, Tech Rock Drake saddle. But if you kill the Alpha Rock Drake, Alpha Rockwell, not Rock Drake, the Alpha Rockwell, you get the Tech Railgun. So I feel like they should do something similar to that, where I'm thinking like, for the structure, they should make a tech tent. Like make it so that it's a tent, but basically made out of tech, where it could have like a force field that would expand a certain distance, where like all the creatures in that radius will not be affected by any of the storms, and the structures will also not be affected by the storms. But only as long as they're in that radius, and only as long as like it's activated or something like that. And I feel like for the saddle, it's obvious it should be a Tech Wyvern saddle, because a lot of people don't know this, but the Tech Wyvern saddle has actually been in a dev kit for almost basically 2 years now, and it's been untouched by the developers. So yeah, that's the thing that should happen. And for the tech weapon, there could be plenty of different tech weapons that could be introduced. I think there could be like a tech chainsaw, a tech flamethrower, which a tech flamethrower doesn't really seem that good of an idea, because why would you need one? But in my opinion, I feel like the tech weapon should be a tech bow, because I feel like that has, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know, but I think I've heard somewhere that a tech bow has also been in the dev kit for a little while, or at least the developers have been talking about a tech bow. Okay, I'm encumbered. Oh yeah, and I also named the Wyvern Amethyst because it's purple, so yeah. Raw, and then drop all that, okay. Take that, and drop these berries. And drop all this. Okay. Yeah, this wyvern is really cool looking. But yeah, it's just very pathetic how their excuse is something so stupid. Like, oh, the ending is different. Like, that's so pathetic. That's extremely pathetic. And extremely is an understatement. That is so lazy. That this is their first DLC. It's the DLC that they have put the most work into, because it was their first, and they also included things that a lot of the other DLCs don't have. God, I don't even know what to say, because honestly, there's nothing really much more to say, other than the fact that Wildcard should add an ending to Scorched Earth, because Scorched Earth was their first DLC. It's one of the reasons why ARK is so popular, is because it was expanding very quickly. And I feel like putting an ending into Scorched Earth will bring a lot of old people that used to play ARK back into ARK. Because, I don't know if any of you noticed, but not that many people play ARK anymore, and I have no idea why. I think it's because something like, the devs don't really add anything new, like anything amazingly huge anymore, because they don't, I mean, they add DLC, but that's it, and a few updates here and there, but that's it. And they don't really add any new creatures to, like, the actual, like, the integrity, wait, that's not the right word, the entirety of any of the maps. They don't come out with new creatures, like new creatures that existed or new creatures in general. They just don't. And bringing new creatures to the game will bring a whole bunch of old people back. And the thing is, a lot of people say that, a lot of YouTubers say that they will definitely be playing this game a lot more, but that ends up happening to be their last video on this game. And I have no idea why. I think it's just because either some of the YouTubers get bored, or they just forget about it, or they just have too much, they have so little time on their hands. I think it's like a mixture of all three, and maybe even some more. But yeah, if any of the old ARK players watching the video, you will know that this game was extremely popular when it was first released. When it was first released, it was more popular than Subnautica, The Isle, Primal Carnage. It was more popular than a lot of popular games. And I have no idea why it was so popular, but it was. It was extremely popular, and like really famous YouTubers like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie played this game and like kind of continued the hype of it, and then all the famous YouTubers just stopped playing it, and like the hype just went away. Which is very sad, because this game is an amazing game. I love it to death, but the thing is... Oh, I didn't get this. Okay. I don't know how I didn't see this Explorer Note before. Interesting. But, yeah. This game is an amazing game. I love it to death, but the developers are just extremely lazy. They've gotten a lot lazier, especially when it comes to Scorched Earth. Because, I mean, not adding a proper ending to this is just unacceptable. It almost makes me hate the developers for not caring about the fans and, like, not giving a crap. Because that's the thing that most, if not every gamer wants to have in a game, is that it being clear that the developers actually give a crap, that they actually care about the fans in the game, and they're not just throwing it out there to be to get money and stuff and popularity. Which not many games do nowadays. A lot of games now, and back then they used to and still do only do it for money. So that's been my rant about ARK. So yeah, it was kind of fun, like flying around, like traveling around on this amazingly cool wyvern. Yeah, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more videos, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that Scorched Earth will get a proper ending. And bye-bye, birdie!